Hello, hello, dear beloveds. Well, my voice is still a little bit croaky, less husky, more croaky now, but I'm definitely feeling really, really good. And on day 5, the last day of my juice cleanse, and my experience of going on these sort of pseudo fasts has been, this is my second time, that what happens when we aren't kind of pumping ourselves full of food or even eating, food at all really, is that the energy gets very high and light. And so I wasn't sort of planning to go live and do these example valuations, but it's actually feeling very natural and very effortless right now, because without having had food in my system for the last few days, everything is very open and very expansive. And that's why fasting is such a sacred practice of every religion. Every philosophy includes fasting periods, because when we take the emphasis off that big engine of our digestive system and we become less matter, more energy, it's so much easier to access those higher realms. And in my normal life, I do 16-8 fasting, where I'll eat in an 8-hour period during my day, and I'll fast for 16 hours, and I'll do that 6 days a week. So it's quite normal for me. My hungry periods have been with this cleanse, not evening time, but sort of around 3 o'clock in the afternoon is when I tend to get hungry. I've also given up coffee this week, so I'm feeling so holy, God, totally devout and so ready to go on retreat. It's 1 week until the next round of the 3rd level priestesses and the beautiful lead mentors Amy and Gemma and I gather in Mama Bali in Ubud, and it's just profound what happens when we get there. So I'm very excited. I feel like the energy is starting to build, and the work that we do, all of the women have been making alterations to the way that they eat. They've taken out sugar and caffeine and alcohol. Some have chosen to go further than that and take out meat, which we will do, of course, when we're together. We don't eat meat. But this group of women, this just blowing my mind with their devotion. They started their change in diet way before they had to, way before I started. I was still drinking Aperol Spritz in Tuscany when they all jumped onto it. But they've really just stepped into their power already. And the work of the retreat, of course, began a long time ago, because they're also journaling daily around their fears and using the tools that we're training in to work through those fears. Because as I said, I don't want you all to arrive and just collapse on me. We are training as priestesses of consciousness. This is not your time to fall into a heap. So we're doing the work, we're integrating this, and of course that's what makes us as spiritual practices sustainable, is that we actually integrate them into our daily life, and we don't wait until we go on retreat to be spiritual. We actually integrate these practices into the everyday. I know, no coffee. I know, no coffee. No coffee. This is a coffee-free zone. I am so proud of myself. You have no idea. I only took up coffee in my mid-20s, but it's pretty intense, the love that I have for that. So I'm feeling like I need some kind of a medal or something. Something needs to come into my life. I might have to go and buy myself something this afternoon just to reward myself for being so good. But it's actually great. I've actually not missed it. I've been using green tea as a way to offset those withdrawals, and of course we'll see how long I need to use that for. But that's not what we're here for, Ricky. We're not here to hear about your caffeine withdrawals or lack thereof. We are here to commune with the divine feminine, and one of the key components of the tools of the intuitive guide is to communicate with archetypes or archetypal energy. So we look at both the shadow archetypes and the divine feminine or divine masculine archetypes, and both are represented in the method as a whole, which is a full 75-minute session, but we work with those archetypal energies as separate tools as well. So when we do our follow-up work or we do our group work with our clients, then we also work with those archetypes. And today we worked with the shadow archetypes yesterday. Today we're going to work with the divine feminine archetypes. And in the system that we work with, we're working primarily with the Jungian archetypes. And I'll just tell you those 13, because they're not an exhaustive list. They're not all of the ones that exist in the world, but they're the ones that in my work with the clients that I have worked with over many years, these energies are the ones that kept coming forward. And we talk about these as archetypes rather than as particular personas. They may take on a particular face of an energy, of a goddess or a saint or you know, a historical figure, but that's secondary to the archetypal energy. And by attuning that way, we're not getting caught up in the kind of bullshit rules of a particular religion or a philosophy. We're really going straight to that God consciousness. And it's very important in the work of the method and the work of the intuitive guide that we don't get caught up in any of the trinkets and superstitions. We keep our connection to the infinite as pure and open a vessel as possible. So we speak in the language of archetypes because those archetypes are all part of the God consciousness or the goddess consciousness, and they will have a particular character or energy that they bring into the client at the moment that the client needs it most. So we're not going to do a full method session here. I'm going to invite anyone who would like to self-nominate, and I'll tune in to identify which of these 13 is working with you and why they're here for you right now and how they can support you. Because really in the method, the vital work is that we equip the client with what they need to go forward to continue working for themselves. We actually want to make ourselves redundant. The job of the intuitive guide is to make themselves redundant in the client's life, and maybe they will need to revisit them a few times, but ultimately we equip them with the knowledge, the information, the power and the scaffolding to allow them to go forward to make the changes for themselves. Okay, Alicia is our first volunteer. What a treat. So I'll just let you know the 13 that we work with in this particular process. And Lisa, my eyesight is not great. Okay, I'm writing this down because these are moving too quickly. I'm going to see how well my voice goes today. It's doing better today, Lisa. Shanae has to go, no problem, my darling. And Megan. Okay, we'll start with those 3, and then if the voice is willing and we feel like we want to keep going, we will. But unlike yesterday where we're looking at the dominant fear, and we were looking at the shadow archetype, and then we went into heart coherence because we really wanted to move out some very heavy energy. We went into that beautiful heart coherence to end. Today, the blessing is in the archetype. You don't need to go into another kind of blessing process because she is going with you forward into your journey, and that's the blessing. So we don't really need to. Darling Bree, if we have time, absolutely. And Peter and Melissa. Oh my goodness. Do you know what I'm going to have to do, Bree? I'm going to have to get you and my other gorgeous, beautiful priestesses on to do this with me and for me. Yes, Janae, we could do this for hours. I think we'd just have to make it a thing, really, won't we? We'll just have to start making it that we get our priestesses on doing this work. All right, so my first volunteer is Alicia. So as I said yesterday, this work is profound, but it's very simple. It's very elegant. It's effortless because we work the muscle constantly. So the ease and grace with which we can attune to that infinite one mind comes like that because every day our life is congruent between our actions and our faith. We live faithfully in the world, and therefore we don't have to spend 20 minutes chanting mantra. I mean, chanting mantra is great, but we can access that energy so quickly and really just move into that space. We create resonance, we create coherence. First of all, that's an instant process. And with the beautiful Alicia, who's so heart-centric and who's so easy to commune with, that energy is there already in an instant. Hello, sister. And we feel that resonance with our client, in this case with Alicia. And then we just hand ourselves over to God, to the infinite consciousness. It's not up to me to look at the list and go, oh, sugar, which one is she today? Oh, golly, golly, golly. And looking. I simply let the consciousness move into me that gives me the information. And this is what non-locality is. We don't have to, it's not causal, it's acausal. So let me just tune into Alicia, and then we'll see. We speak with or as that archetypal energy. And dear sister, today here to serve you is the goddess. And her message is simple: about time, about time. And just so I'm sharing with you what I'm experiencing, I'm clairsentient, so I feel this information in my body, but it translates into words through that felt sense. And I can see an image of a goddess before me as well, and she's very beautiful, very much the Lakshmi energy. And her information is very, very direct. When you take the foot off the brake, everything will come to you with ease and grace. This pushing on this, like this pedaling on the brake, pushing and then taking the foot off, and then pushing and then taking the foot off, is causing the feelings of nausea in the body, the feeling of hesitation, the feeling of concern is actually your own action, not the infinite coming and going. It's what are you most afraid of? So it's very much the time, my darling, to look that fear in the face. What is that fear? And the word lack is coming up very much. And Lakshmi, of course, is the goddess of abundance in Hinduism, and she's bestowing her blessings upon you. It's like, just take your foot off the brake, and that energy can flow to you. But whilst you are meddling, whilst you're trying to determine how it will happen, it's hard for the energy to flow. It's a stop-start relationship. She's here in all of her beauty, her finery. Lakshmi is celebrated in the festival of Diwali in India, and it's where they light all of the candles, all of the tea lights, and it's just this absolute celebration of abundance. It's like, keep going joyfully in the direction of that feeling, because there is total abundance surrounding this. The path is paved with gold, and this is your birthright. You didn't come here to martyr and suffer in the lifetimes that you've done before. So cast off that belief that this is a lifetime of suffering. This is a lifetime of leadership, and the leader must be glorious. She must shine so brightly that she cannot be missed. She shines with God's radiance, with the goddess's radiance. She doesn't shine because she believes that she is doing this all by herself and therefore she has to figure it all out. She shines from within with the energy of the goddess, and that is the way that you will move yourself beyond this fear of lack. It's simply that you've wedded yourself too strongly to 3D, and we bless you now. We bless you again. And if she was here now, she'd place the marigold wreath around your neck and say, you are blessed, you are blessed. And Ganesha is raising his trunk, and there is just this vision of gold, which is a reflection of your own glory, dear sister. And what you have come here to do is not small, and there's no pressure in that. In fact, you feel a relief in knowing that. Yes. Okay. Thank you, dear sister. Go forward with Lakshmi, go forward with Ganesha, go forward with the absolute certainty of your success. Your success is inevitable because you work for God. Okay, so I want you to keep working with that, my darling. She is here in all her luscious abundance. Like, that abundance has so many meanings, but it's absolutely to do with this fear of lack and of holding around this. You just put one foot in front of the other and you'll just see it will just keep moving towards you. It's inevitable. My success is inevitable because I work for God. Beautiful. Okay, Lisa. Let's tune into you, my darling. Thank you so much, Alicia, for letting us check in with you and to tune into your goddess. Okay, I'm getting warm. We're getting the energy going, babies. And this is, as I say, I want you to know that even though the goddess Lakshmi presented herself here, the energy, the archetype was the goddess. And really it wouldn't have mattered if I'd identified her or not. This is not about getting involved in a religion or ideas, or it's very much just about how do we attune to the faith, to God through the energy of the many faces of God. Okay, so Lisa. So the archetype that is with you today, dear one, is the wife. And interestingly, many women don't want to associate with the wife archetype, but I would like for you to change your mind about her at this moment in time. This is not a literal symbol of you being partnered. You may be, but it's not as important. That's about the 3D reality, and we're looking at the symbolic level. And the wife is Parvati. So we're getting a lot of Hindu goddesses. Interestingly enough, I had a session with the beloved priestess Manjot, who is Hindu this morning, and Durga came through. So I think that in preparation for going to Bali, the Hindu goddesses are surrounding. Parvati is the wife, and she is not the wife in the sense of servant. And I think for many women in contemporary Western society, that idea of wife as being servant is sort of, you know, as being less than, as being beholden to a man, is often a fear that we have. But in this case, it's absolute righteous sense of your self-worth, that you are standing equal before your consort, and that, you know, Shiva without Shakti can do nothing. He's just sitting there meditating. He can't create without his consort Shakti. And those two energies together create the force that is able to bring matter into being. When we are afraid of partnership, either lack of partnership or because we feel that partnership will keep us in a prison, we are not in our own righteous power, because of course we can only be truly partnered when we have partnered with ourselves. We can only truly create when we are in that Shakti and Shiva balance within ourselves. So the yearning here is through the symbol of Parvati, is to be unafraid to be a co-creator, to be unafraid to partner, whether that be with another or with an idea or with life, or in any way that partnership is coming up for you. And to understand the wife is the diplomat. She can make things happen that other people can't. It's like she's got this power in her. She's got this incredible magic in her to be able to bring people into peaceful union. And she is a negotiator as well. So she's very, very powerful at being able to connect and create connection. So dear Sister Lisa, that is very much the energy that's coming out right now, is that understanding that it's safe for you to be in union with the other, with whether that is a literal other or whether that is the idea of coming into partnership with the world, and to embody that role of you know, the humility that comes with co-creation. It's about recognizing that it's thy will be done. And so I invite you to surrender any of your fears right now and really just see that the path is absolutely laid out before you in terms of everything there is there to hold you. You will not be left unsupported in this energy. Thank you, dear one. So take that beautiful Parvati energy forward and see her as, you know, so willing to be met, to have that consort, to be partnered and to create through that partnership. And that's a very, very strong message for you today. Okay, Megan. All right. I need to check my time. I'm just going to check my time. I have a third level interview coming up, which I'm very excited about. It's third level interview season. We're doing good for time though. All right. So closing down the eyes, connecting into that beautiful energy. So if you were doing this work as the intuitive guide, as I say, it's instant. There's no effort required, but our whole life, we are the mystics. So our whole life is about devotion, and we're on this path of devotion. And so when we come to do this work, we're always ready. We're always ready. It doesn't take great effort. Okay, dear sister, the Enchantress is here for you, and the feeling of nothing has been lost. And I know you know that I know some things about your life at this time, but even if I didn't know anything about you, I would want you to have faith in these words. Nothing has been lost. That magic that is actually miraculous energy, that power to alchemize is within you. And that has nothing to do with physical form. It's so many of the archetypes are here actually. It's like as I'm speaking, there is the healer alchemist, there is the teacher, there is the mother, there is the wife, and they're all clamoring around you right now, holding you and absolutely assuring you that you are them and they are you, and that there is a birth to happen for you. You will birth the world. There's a power in you that is bigger than the human paradigm could permit or allow for, and it would be a waste of your precious energy to not meet yourself as this just this epic power. It's just like as I'm speaking, I'm trying to figure out which one is talking to me, but they're all gathered around. But that Enchantress energy is very precious to you. It's often associated with the idea of the witch, even though we have the crone is often associated with the witch. The enchantress is actually, you know, the witch also, that contemporary idea of the witch, not an old-fashioned idea of an old lady in a, you know, forest living in a hut eating children, but this very powerful alchemist who is it's just like there's just magic pouring out of you all of the time, and that your presence is the gift. And whatever you choose to do with that energy right now, it's all kind of organizing itself, and more of these archetypes are just wanting to say, we are with you. There's nothing lost. This is so much the message here. There's nothing lost. It's unlike the path that so many walk. But that is the purpose of it. Its purpose is to ensure you did not accept an ordinary life in an ordinary way, because it would not serve you to do that. And yet what will come and what will be created by you will be truly epic. And I hope you can feel as I'm like, whoa, this is just my skin's changing color. There's just so much present. They're all here. They're all here. There's not one more than the other, but they're meeting, you know, the enchantress is there, and it's the energy also of Hecate, and it's very much this crossroads feeling for you, but actually it's all been predetermined, and you've just had the courage to follow where God was leading you when so many would not have had that courage. So it's, the path may feel like you're at a crossroads, but actually it's all been predetermined, and it's just lean into that truth, lean into that magic, and be assured you are not on your own right now. At any moment you could call upon any face of the divine feminine, and she would be there to nourish you. It's a new paradigm. It's a new paradigm that you're creating, and it's just very, very exciting. So please take this forward with you, and let these energies just be with you. Take them into your meditation, take them into your heart, and let them hold you, because they're all clamoring around you. You are so precious to them, and it's like they've been waiting for this moment where they could just kind of really, really hold you. So thank you, dear Megan, for letting us serve you in this way. All of them. Okay, Bree, gorgeous Bree. I feel like we can keep going here. Let me just have some water. And if you're here right now and you're hearing any of these and you aren't the one who's volunteered and it's resonating, please completely know there are no accidents. This energy is archetypal. There's only 13 that we work with here, which means that there's not like one for one person. These energies repeat over and over. And if you happen to be here at this moment and you're hearing this right now and it's resonating, that absolutely means this information is for you as much as it is for anyone else. And this is how we serve. You know, what we hear is our own medicine as well. And that's why, you know, for me, this is such a blessing, because I'm hearing what I need to hear at this time as well. There's absolutely no accidents with that. Okay. So, Bree. I can feel all this nervous energy in your heart, my darling. So the archetypal energy that's here with you, dear sister, is the wild woman. And she's here primarily as a permission giver, that you need to give that permission to yourself to author your own life. There's a sense of, with the wild woman, we can think of her as being out of control and you know off naked rolling around in the bushes, but she is that primal energy, that divine feminine energy, just that pure creative force. There's so much creative power in you, and it's rising up in you, and it's like you're trying to put a lid on it because you haven't met this part of yourself before. You've had glimmers of her before and you're afraid that she she might consume you, or that life will get too hectic or crazy. But actually this energy is just rising in you. And the more you just say, yes, yes, I'm willing, I let that wild woman out, you know, let her creative life force be free, the more things will actually find their new order. So all this sense of you know, who am I seeking permission from? These questions of that doubt of am I enough? It's like the wild woman just eats those fears for breakfast, and she's like, just tears the limbs off those fears, and she just absolutely occupies the path. She doesn't ask for permission from anybody. She is so self-authoring that she's not here to tell you, you know, you need to get naked under the full moon unless that feels really good to you. It's much more about being absolutely unafraid of that creative fire that's rising in you. You can't put a lid on it. You can't say no to this now. You have to, you know, you've taken the steps on the path, and you've consented. And now it's like, okay, I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm willing to go to the full expression of whatever my life is meant to be. And that absolute not holding back. You're no longer holding anything back from yourself or from the world. And that, you know, that's fear of being impolite that we're trained to be as little girls. You know, being, you know, good girl means to be polite and to be pretty and to be well liked and to look good and to have everybody think good things about you. None of that's going to matter. I really want to swear, but I'm trying really hard not to, because I'm aware children might be around. You're going to become so self-permissive, so self-permission giving, that everybody will want to be in your presence, not because you've done something nice for them or made them feel good, but because you are so radically aligned with yourself that to be around you gives others that permission. And that's what you're going to give the women that you work with. And you are so close to recognizing that and just absolutely being unafraid of where this is going to go. Just take the brakes off, because it's all happening. It's all happening. Ooh, I love her. Wild woman. You know, with her, with this energy, she is the earth itself, you know. And I know you live in a really beautiful place. It's like, just go and be in that beautiful physical environment and just give all that heavy energy, that doubt that plagues you, to the earth, and just say, okay, I want to be held in your embrace, your fearlessness, that power that comes to us from the mother, and that genuine sense of self-authorship. That's the word. Just permission. Give yourself permission. You can't make a wrong choice when you are in that state, because it's a choice of total radical self-love. All right. Ah, she's good. I like her. Yeah, I'm having a little bit more water. This is so much fun. Seriously, priestesses, we have to do this every week. Let's just make this a regular thing, shall we? Just like one of us will go live each week on the Institute page, and we'll connect to the energy of the Divine Feminine. It's so good. We're going to keep doing it. Okay, so the next person that I'm connecting in with is Peter. And I hope you're also seeing how easy this is. This is just the way it is, okay? This is our birthright. This is just the way it is, that we do not have to go through, you know, this energy is all around us. Energy is encoded with information. That's all it is. And the second we make that decision to tune in at that highest possible level, the communion occurs. Okay, I just want to see so many great comments. Yeah. Bree says, thank you. I feel so much resistance at the moment. The doubt, the fear of not being enough. Thank you. Yeah, the wild woman is not having it. She's not having it. Maybe there has to be some naked under the moonness. We'll maybe get Amy Towle in. She can, you know, lead you through a outdoor naked ceremony. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. All right, Peter. And just connecting into that beautiful energy that is the other, this case in the form of Peter. And the beautiful truth is, of course, we're connecting to ourselves just in that physical guise that looks a little bit different to us. But that is us. Okay, my darling, the healer archetype is here for you. And the healer is not here to heal you, because that is not required, that you are in fact the healer. And we call the healer the alchemist as well. And you've already had this inkling, and that is a growing thing in you, that this is calling you, the path of the healer alchemist. The healer doesn't do anything but correct perception. That's what healing is. It's the correction of perception. But you are beginning to perceive yourself differently, and you're beginning to see that you are the medicine, and that you're not the broken thing that has been forgotten or is damaged or can't achieve or thrive because of the things that have happened to her. You are the path of the healer. That is your soul's calling, and that can take any form. It doesn't have to take a traditional healer form. We don't have to expect you to hang up your sign as an energy healer. It's not about that. Alchemy is creating that shift in perception. It's the changing our mind about ourselves. And so that work can happen in any way at all in the world, but primarily it is the work that we do with and for ourselves. Once again, just as we were saying with the wild woman, with Brie, when we are permission giving of ourselves, we give that permission to the world, and that changes everything. Perception of self is everything for you right now, and to put down this idea that you're looking for the thing to heal you. Nothing has gone wrong. Nothing has gone out of place. In fact, everything is lining up to serve you. And that sense of perception of, I am broken, I am bruised, I have seen too much and lived too much, I am unholy. These are the fears in the subconscious, but this healer alchemist is here to say, take up your bed and walk. This is what you are. You are here as the medicine for the world, and that is your path, dear one. So please don't be afraid of that, of putting down this idea that anything that could have happened to you could harm you, because it couldn't. Because in truth, as we're learning in the Initiate program, nothing that occurs at the level of the dream can harm us, because it is but a dream. It doesn't mean we don't learn from it, but it's not going to cause us harm. Okay, that felt good. All right, the last person on my list is Melissa, and then I do think I've reached my capacity. Even though this is so joyful, I just, it's good to be mindful of what we need, especially when your voice is just only coming back. All right. Tuning into Melissa. Once again, the effortless intention. It just occurs, that non-locality. There's no effort required. There's no such thing as distance healing. There's no such thing as distance anything. Where I place my consciousness, there I am. And for you, dear sister, the archetype that is here is the teacher. And the teacher is here to lead and guide others, and to take everything that they are into the world in that service of transmuting other people's pain and suffering by allowing them to understand, to learn, to grow through your shared experience. So the teacher is, in her light form, the teacher is absolutely that scaffold that holds others so that they may meet themselves in all of their power. In their dark form, the teacher becomes something very different, the person who wants to control and keep students perpetually in their studenthood. But you have the grace and humility in you, dear one, that makes you the teacher who sits in circle, the teacher whose presence transfers knowledge. It's your vibration, it's your grace. That word keeps coming up, that benevolence, that compassion that allows you to make people feel safe, to surrender, because to learn, to submit to learning, it's this idea of submitting to learning takes great humility. We are very afraid often, if we agree to learn from someone, that we're saying, I am lesser than you. And that's actually not the paradigm of the spiritual teacher at all. The spiritual teacher says, I see in you exactly what I see in myself, and I know, because I've walked the path before you, that I can guide you to meet that within you. It's nothing to do with rank or hierarchy. That's a very old patriarchal notion of learning and education, that we submit to learning. We use that word, yes, like this idea that we submit, like we're being humiliated, rather than humility, which is every opportunity I step into is an opportunity to learn and grow, and I'm going to take that opportunity. And you are so perfectly positioned as the teacher now because you have spent all this time as the student. But here is the thing, it is the time to step into that teacher, and it's very much attended to with the priestess energy. So the priestess and the teacher are standing here together in that sacred service, that absolute melding of the divine and the 3D, and that's those two energies together. And to know that your role as the teacher is to let people experience you and to see you, and that visibility, that being seen, being witnessed, is both the medicine, because everything we offer to the world is our medicine, as well as what you will be able to bring into the world to transform it. The teacher has to be certain. They have to not doubt the information, the wisdom, the knowledge that they're sharing, and they do that because they know that what they're sharing has nothing to do with them. It's the divine moving through them. As with all of this, my greatest power is to know that my only power is God's power, and that motivates the humble teacher, the teacher who's not there for power over something, but to empower those around her. And that time is yours. The time is ripe for you, my dear, to step into that role together. Okay, I think we're done. Those were all the people on my list. Thank you for everybody who's been here. I haven't had a chance to look at all of the comments. Peter says, thank you, that hits home. I'm so glad to hear that. So happy to hear that. And yes, I think we just have to keep doing this because it's such a beautiful thing to offer. You know, my mission is to change our relationship to our intuition and to recognize that this is not in any way about the trinkets and superstitions of the new age. It's like we are all divinely fated to be able to commune with what we are, which is infinite, unlimited consciousness, and it's simply our birthright. It's not difficult. We just have to be willing to show up as the mystic shows up in the world through devotion. Consistent devotion is what builds the muscle, and that spiritual self-esteem is what allows you to go into that. I don't know anything about you. I'm going to tune into you, and even if I do know everything about you, I know the information that is coming non-locally from that infinite consciousness, and I don't doubt it. I don't look at my list and go, isn't she more like that one? I don't think I'm going to say that. I think I'm going to say that. You just surrender everything to that infinite consciousness and you let it speak through you. Everything is encoded with information, and it is always trying to commune with us. This is the law of correspondence, and to support us in our lives. And we're just like, I can't hear my intuition, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, you're not acting faithfully. You must do the work to be able to open yourself effortlessly to that voice, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's simply that our fear, our self-doubt, and all of that creates a barrier in our own consciousness, so that we believe that we're vulnerable and alone. Megan says, thank you for sharing your beautiful process. It's a joy. It was a joy to receive and witness. It was a joy to serve you, darling. Melissa says, thank you, sisters. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. Just making sure I got all of this. Thank you so much for those of you who joined. And yeah, we're just going to make this a regular thing, so don't feel sad if you missed out. We will do it again, and I'll make sure that I recruit I think I'll have a lot of priestesses. We're excited to do this. I think this is very cool work. And any questions, just type them in below and I will come back. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.